Hello, God bless my parishioners on day number 18 of the Bible in a year. And it is a blessing and a gift to be with you. And today here in chapter 18 of the book of Numbers, we have words about a gift and blessing, that two things are a gift. It talks about the Levites and the priests. And they are kind of like the deacons and the priests in our Catholic Church. God says that the Levites, who are like deacons helping in the Holy of Holies, the tabernacle tent, helping the priests, they're a gift to the priests to have these helpers. And then God says to the priests, I give your priesthood as a gift. And so what a gift, as Father Michael Schmitz always says. The priesthood and the diaconate are gifts to the church. Since the priesthood was so important and so respected, they receive these portions. They get the portion. They don't have an inheritance of land, but the Lord himself is their inheritance, and they also get these portions, as it says in verse 12, the best of the oil, the best of the wine, and the grain of the crops, the first ripe fruits, and the firstborn of all the animals were all brought to the temple, kind of as a sign that we give the best to the Lord and to the service of the church or the temple. And this is referred to in verse 19 as a covenant of salt forever. Now that seems like a strange little phrase, but that refers to the fact that salt was very important back then, and it's a preservative, and it gives flavor, and it gives goodness to everything. And so that's why it was actually sprinkled on almost all sacrifices in the temple. The temple in Israel was the biggest producer and buyer of salt in the whole country, because salt was used on all sacrifices. And it kind of was symbolic of the fact that, you can't just offer a sacrifice. You have to offer it with love. You have to offer it with some feeling, with some sincerity. And so that's symbolized by kind of this salt. It has to have some flavor. You can't just pray and, make little sacrifices during Lent. You've got to do it with love. And that's the salt that's referred to. In the book of Deuteronomy, we're looking at chapters 19 and 20, and it speaks of God, wanting to distinguish between manslaughter and murder. Manslaughter is when you accidentally kill someone, and there are these cities of refuge so that these people can go and be safe from kind of angry relatives of the person who died, and that's kind of a way of protecting this person who didn't intend to kill someone. But murder, however, is something that has to be punished more severely. In verse 14, it mentions landmarks. You shall not remove your neighbor's landmark. And those were things that were set, as it says, by men of old. They were property markers. And they were very important, especially for the Israelites, each tribe had a region, and each family had a section. And so moving them was illegal, because it would lead to encroachment and to property disputes later. So that makes a lot of sense, that it's a kind of a grave sin to move these things. In verse 21, we have those famous words that Jesus even quoted, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And that was just a sort of a break, put a damper on this, revenge. People being so angry that they want to kill someone who just sort of hurt me. It has to be proportionate. It has to be equal. You can't punish someone more than what they did to you. And then we come to chapter 20, where it talks about warfare, and this is one of those difficult passages. Again, we've been, trying to say that, yes, God is just, and God would never command, and the Catholic Church never commands anything that's ever wrong. It's true that, if you find something that the Catholic Church teaches that is wrong, then you shouldn't be Catholic, right? You shouldn't believe in it. You shouldn't believe that it's supernatural and guided by God. So, and the Word of God is the same. This Bible has to be true from beginning to end. If we find anything that's untrue or wrong or unjust, then we can't believe in it. So that's why we have to, and Father Michael Schmitz and all of us are trying to explain that these laws are not wrong, that it was not wrong for God to command these things. So how can we justify or understand these particular laws about warfare? Here we have the priest getting up and giving a speech in chapter 20, verse 2, and then the officers, the commanders, give a speech about how they have to be courageous, and if anyone's afraid or if they're newly married or whatever. So only those who are going to fight valiantly are to go. And if you get near a city that's one of the surrounding nations, you offer peace terms. But if you come up to an enemy that is occupying the land that was Israel, that's supposed to be the inheritance of the 12 tribes, there it says, as it says in verse 16, the peoples of these cities, you shall say nothing alive that breathes. So, well, I like to think that certainly people would have had the opportunity to run away if they heard about the Israelites coming back, and that they would, you know how in World War II they would drop leaflets or little pieces of paper warning people to flee before bombings and that kind of thing. But nevertheless, it does seem that this is a command, as it says, to totally exterminate these peoples who were, as it says, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites. One of the explanations is that they were practicing human sacrifice. They were sacrificing babies to Moloch. They would put their babies into the mouth of this big statue and burn the baby. This was terrible things. And so again, these are called wars of judgment. God is punishing these nations perhaps for their sins, for making pacts and agreements with demons. Normally, God would allow, other countries that were angry with them to take them over, and God wouldn't protect them anymore. But here we have God telling the Israelites to go and to be the instrument of judgment themselves, and that seems harsh. However, Israel is the people of God. They are chosen. They have a special. It's like they are God. It's like they. So it is wrong for us as individuals, or even to think that we're acting on the behalf of God. We always have to act justly. We can't go and kill or make war on the innocent. But here, perhaps it's only Israel that has ever been given this command to go and to destroy a nation. And as Father Michael Schmitz says at the end of Deuteronomy, Moses says, "I know that you people aren't faithful, and you're not going to keep these. You're not going to keep these laws." And in fact, they didn't actually do these things of exterminating all the peoples. And so that was perhaps that kind of helps us perhaps a little bit to understand. But nevertheless, nothing in the Bible can be wrong. So we somehow have to understand that legitimate authority can establish that, for example, we need to go and do a just war, right? A government, not individual, but a government can decide we need to go and we need to attack this other country for a just reason, right? For just warfare. Catholic Church has always said that it's not always wrong to go to war. The Catholic Church has always said that it's not wrong to defend yourself, self-defense, and also that it's not wrong it's not wrong for Israel as God's people to be the instrument of judgment on a nation that has, sold their souls to demons and done such abominable things. So somehow it seems that in this case, but not in all cases, but in this case, it was something that was not wrong to have this commandment that they were to go in and exterminate the peoples of a nation if they did not flee. On a lighter note, in the next verses, 19 through 20, it shows that, we know tree huggers love trees, and it says, it commands that you shall not destroy all the trees. You only the trees which you know are not trees for food you may destroy, but do not destroy all the trees or cut them down, as it says. So we can see that there's recognition of the importance of trees and the beauty of trees and the usefulness of trees right here in the Bible.